Hi guys, it's Luke of Mebi Airsoft here. We're going to be doing in today's video an overview of my medium budget JG Bar 10 build, as well as a couple of different options around the medium sort of budget build and the pros and cons of each build. So first I've just got a picture and a short video to show my rifle, and then I'm going to be going into a little bit more detail about my build, and then what I would change about it, and a better build in my opinion for around the same sort of money. So as you can see on the screen now, we've got this very boring looking Excel spreadsheet. So we're going to start with the accuracy stuff, talk about power upgrades, other items, and then I'm going to go over the total costings at the bottom. So at the top left, you've got the build that I went for finally. So I'm using the Action Army VSR hop up, which you should use in any VSR build anyway, to be honest. I used a ZCI barrel 6.02 VSR length barrel. I used a maple leaf bucking, one of the monster buckings. I used the Prometheus flat nubs. I got a pair of them. I'll use one, obviously. Softer the better for an R-Hop. And then I actually did get one of the R-Hop Z kits from Airlab. Although, as you can see from the middle build, which is pretty much the same, but you can save the money using the silicon tubing and the eraser nubs, which I originally did plan to do. As you can see from the pricings at the bottom, it is a noticeable amount cheaper, saving there about like £28, £30. So that's something to consider if budget is the problem in this. And then the build that I would recommend, just for these, you can essentially just drop this in and get very similar results to the R-Hop. You can use the Action Army VSR hop up, the Action Army VSR barrel, a maple leaf monster bucking, 60 or 70 hardness, depending on your preference, and a maple leaf concave nub. Now, these do get very similar results to an R-Hop, and they require very minimal amounts of work. I'm not going to go into massive detail about how this works, because there's a guy over on Airsoft Sniper Forum called Relicu who's done a very good video going into massive amounts of detail about this, and I'll link it in the description because this guy could explain it a lot better than I could. So, pros and cons of each. My build was the easier R-Hop method, so essentially I bought the R-Hop kit, so the R-Hop patches were required very minimal amounts of work to get them right. And the Prometheus flat nubs just pop straight into the VSR hop up, so which made the installation a little bit easier. In the eyes of saving money, though, if you do want to do that method, you can go down the route of the silicon tubing and making your own eraser nub, which I did originally do, and the results were alright, but I haven't got the steadiest of hands for cutting these patches, so I decided to just buy them to see if I could get better results. And I'm sure that people that have done our hops before or are confident in our hop ability could get very good results from this. But the recommended is definitely the maple leaf, just because it's so easy to get in there, and price wise there's not very much in it. Say £20 difference from the cheapest, the DIY section, so with the eraser nub and the silicon tubing. However, for that extra £20, you could essentially just have a drop-in R-Op, which, I mean, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. If I were to do this build again, I would definitely go down that route. Right, so onto the power upgrade stuff. So as you can see, I used the Airsoft Pro Mark 3 trigger set. I got this for £69.99 from Camo Raids. This is a UK-based site, but they have got by far the cheapest Airsoft Pro prices I've seen anywhere within the UK. So this set comes with the spring guide, 90-degree piston, and the 90-degree trigger set. So you could get away with just buying this set, which obviously would just be the £70. However, I'm going to show that in a video clip now as well. I did end up having to buy a new cylinder and cylinder head, because the springs that come with the Airsoft Pro trigger sets are ridiculously overpowered. When I first put it in, the gun was shooting around 630 FPS. The limit here in the UK is 500, just for reference. And it essentially rattled my cylinder to pieces. So as you've just seen in the clip, I did end up having to buy a new cylinder. So I have put that in the costing for my build, because this is what I spent. I've also priced in an Action Army M150 spring, which again I would recommend buying because I had to cut a ridiculous amount of coils off of this Airsoft Pro spring to get it shooting at a safe FPS. Um, the Action Army springs aren't expensive, and they are very reliable. And you would probably have to still cut it down a little bit, but nowhere near as much as I did for the Airsoft Pro spring. All the rest of the trigger set is great, but the springs are notoriously bad from the Airsoft Pro stuff. So just bear that in mind when you are making a purchase. And whilst I was going ahead and changing to the Airsoft Pro cylinder, I did buy the Airsoft Pro cylinder head, which did give me a better air seal in the end. I've also priced on there the Airsoft Pro black cylinder. That's just a matter of preference. They're exactly the same price. And the bolt pull and the general feel of the rifle was a lot more solid when I did put the steel cylinder in there. But just to summarise for the power stuff, the Airsoft Pro trigger set is great. A lot of people buy the Action Army trigger set, but there's not really much point. It's more expensive and does essentially the same thing. They all work on the same system. As long as it's a 90-degree trigger, you're golden. But the Airsoft Pro trigger is more than enough for this medium budget build. Right, so moving on to the other items. Teflon tape is a must. It's dirt cheap. You can use it to sort out your air seal. So you can Teflon tape your cylinder head just to get that air seal a little bit better. Also, you buck into your barrel, which again I would recommend, especially if you're doing the R-hop, because you have to shave the lips that grip the barrel on normal VSR cut barrels off, because the AEG barrels obviously don't have these in. Now you can get Action Army barrels that are AEG barrels with the slit in, but I went for the ZCI route because it's cheaper. But Teflon tape is a must for this sort of build. Even if you're doing the Maple Leaf build, Teflon tape is a must, to be honest, if you want to get that consistency. Next you've got masking tape. These are used to make barrel spacers. These again are a must if you're after good accuracy. The less rattle for your barrel, the better. And you can buy the pre-made barrel spacers, but what's the point? Because you can make your own for next to nothing. It takes about 20 minutes or so. After that, you've got silicone oil and silicone grease. Again, this is a must. Don't use any other sort of oils or greases on there. Silicone is the way to go. Grease for sort of inside your cylinder parts, so like your piston, your spring guide, and the oil I like to use on the bolt, just to keep it nice and smooth. You can use grease, but it's all down to personal preference. I would recommend definitely getting both. Right, so before I go into the chrono footage and the accuracy test of my rifle, I'm just going to talk about the total costings at the bottom. So as you can see, I've done all this in Great British pounds. However, you could easily convert this to your currency, and it's also useful to see it for the parts list anyway. I've priced the bar 10 at £120. However, I did get my bar 10 on sale from Taiwan Gun for £85. So I would keep an eye out on their site for future sales if you are in the market for a bar 10. These builds can be used on the Well sniper clones as well. Or obviously the Tokyo Marui snipers as well, because I know that Airsoft Pro do tailor their parts towards the Well snipers. However, it works just fine in my bar 10. So as you can see in the bottom left, my build is ever so slightly the most expensive of the three. However, that's purely because I just went for convenience. There's people out there that'll be 10 times better at R-hops than I am, and they're more comfortable cutting their own nubs and their own patches from the tubing. If that's the case, I would recommend going down this route because it's cheaper. However, if you've got slightly higher budget, I would definitely recommend the Maple Leaf combo build because it's just so much easier. There's no sanding down of bookings, etc. And it is essentially just a drop in R-hop for a sniper. So if you haven't already, I would go over and check out Relicool's video from Airsoft Sniper Forum regarding the Maple Leaf setup, which I have linked in the description because this guy explains it really, really well. So as the chrono footage rolls in the back as I'm speaking, I'm just going to talk about a little air seal issue that I've had due to R-hopping the VSR style booking. Because you have to sand the lips off of the booking, it essentially sort of gets rid of the benefit of the VSR bucking, which is the lips that sit inside of the slit on the VSR barrels, which obviously gives you really good air seal because it physically grips the barrel. So obviously due to the R hop, I've had to and using an AEG barrel, I've had to sand these lips off. So as you can see, I have got around a 20 FPS deviation, which isn't great for a sniper, and I'm by no means claiming this is the ultimate sort of sniper build. I am showing a little clip after as well where you can see me putting the original VSR rubber on the original JG barrel, and I'm trying to show the fact that it grips in the slit in the barrel. So I will actually be changing over to a maple leaf setup as well as the Action Army barrel soon, and hopefully this will sort of further better my air seal and get that deviation of the FPS down a little. Right, so here we've got some accuracy tests. So I'm shooting .4 blaster BBs at around 90 feet. I think it's about 88 foot or something. There's some footage, sorry, up close of the target, which is a 70 by 200 mil spray paint can. There's some footage up close of the target, and there's also some footage from the position I was shooting from, just to show that I am actually shooting at this range. If you listen for the audible dink when the BBs are hitting, you can actually hear the sniper is fairly accurate at this range. Coming up after this as well, there is another close-up of the target. I'm pretty impressed with what I've managed to achieve for the money that I've put into it. This sniper is still a work in progress though. I've got some more playing around to do with the air seal. That deviation definitely needs to come down to get that consistency up. And also I think I am definitely going to try the maple leaf setup as a comparison. If you'd like to see that in a video, please do let me know. This is my first YouTube video ever, really. I have really enjoyed making this, and I am definitely interested in making some more if people are interested in seeing it. So as the footage rolls out, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments about how I've done this video, or if there's any questions around the build, or any definitely constructive criticism is welcomed as well to help these videos get a little bit better. So thanks again for watching, and please consider subscribing if you did enjoy the video. Thanks a lot.